What's up guys, it's Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and today we're talking about the best ways to ensure you stay alive to kayak fish another day. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in the water that could ruin your day or worse. And make sure you watch to the end and let me know if you disagree with any of my points. But first, dad joke of the day, why are geometry books so adorable? They have acute angles. And that dad joke is brought to us by my beautiful daughter, Chloe. Thank you, baby. Daddy loves you. And the number one way to ensure you stay alive kayak fishing is to wear a PFD. If you're out on the water at any time of the year in any depth of water without a life jacket, you're foolish and you need to be wearing a life jacket. I understand people are good swimmers. I'm a good swimmer. You're probably an amazing swimmer. But a life jacket takes out all of the extra risk and unknowns, so you're better off just wearing one. And if you don't have a life jacket should be the first purchase you make after your kayak. Before you get your crates, your rods, your mods, your modifications, your fish finder, any of that stuff, you need to get a proper life jacket. And now that I beat that over your head, there's a couple different life jackets you could look at when you're going to buy one. You have your standard life jacket with no frills, no thrills, just a regular one. Those work fine as long as they're Coast Guard approved. That's fine. If they just have the buckles in the front, no pockets or whatever, that's okay. Get that if that's what you can afford. Now, when it comes to fishing life jackets, there's two of the most popular kinds. Your first one is your standard fishing one. This is my NRS Chinook. I've had it for many seasons and I really like it. It has the high up foam on the back, so it sits over your seat so you're not sitting hunched over. That's one thing that makes it a kayak specific life jacket. Life jackets like these are popular, but they can get warm because this foam is kind of thick. So especially if you live down south or in the summer, these can get kind of hot. But I don't care if it's hot, you still keep this on you. Don't strap it to your kayak. That is foolish. Keep it on your person. The other popular version of a life jacket when it comes to kayak fishing are these inflatable life jackets. Some guys swear by them, other guys don't take the risk because this does not work unless it inflates. This is the Onyx AM24, so AM stands for automatic or manual. So the manual is, you have this little pull tab right here. If you pull it, it'll inflate, but it requires you to pull it. The auto function is that if it senses it's in water, it should auto deflate. The problem is sometimes that doesn't happen, or people fear that might not happen. So Lord forbid you fall off your kayak, you hit your head, you have a medical emergency like a heart attack or something that makes you incapacitated where you can't pull this and you fall into the water. That's where people have that concern with the automatic function. So regardless which one you go with, whether it's inflatable, a standard fishing one, whether it's just the plain one with no zippers or nothing, just the buckles, that's okay. Just make sure you have a proper Coast Guard approved life jacket. That's the number one way to ensure you won't die when you're kayak fishing. And the second way to make sure you don't die kayak fishing is to know the weather. Weather is all important, so knowing your forecast is critical when you're going kayak fishing, especially if you're fishing offshore, if you're fishing large bodies of water like the Great Lakes, or even big lakes like Cayuga, Gunnersville, where they're long and a big wind can really stir up some wakes and some chops. You need to know your weather and the forecast, so it's important to track it. There's plenty of apps you can use to track. Honestly, my favorite one is just the weather app that comes already on your phone. You can check the wind, you can check the rain, you can check obviously the temperatures. All that is super important. There's plenty of other options as well, like Windy. There's Wind Finder. Those are specific for wind and wind forecast, and they have a lot more features that dive in deeper than the standard weather app on the iPhone. Rivercast is another great one that measures how fast the river's flowing. If you fish a lot of rivers, that's gonna be important for you to know as well. And you can also use something like Omnia. Omnia is probably one of my favorite apps because A, it's only $50 for the entire year, but it also blends your forecast stuff. So your wind, your precipitation, your thunder, your lightning, your storms, all that good stuff with fishing things you want to know. So they have Navionics on there so you can check your depths, your contours, you can check your vegetation. People also share on there what they're catching their fish on, what time of year, what lures and things like that by lake. So it blends in all the good weather stuff with all the fishing stuff as well. And the third way to make sure you stay alive kayak fishing is to pack proper safety gear. There's a lot of safety gear that you should have with you either on your person or in your kayak when you're kayak fishing. Things like lights. You should always have a 360 light. Just like this one, that I have right here. This is the Yak Attack Visi Pro 2. So this has a light on top that's twist on. If I twist it the right way, just like that, twist off. It's not incredibly bright, but it is a really good feature. Plus the really bright orange flag, the reflective stripe, and it just goes right into your track right here. Great thing about this is that it folds down just like so, and then the flag itself doubles as a bag, so you can put everything in there at once and it stores away easily. In addition to the 360 light, also get a headlamp to put right on your hat if you wear a hat. It helps you see where you're going, what you're doing when you're on the kayak. Plus, it gives a little bit more added visibility to other boaters in the area if you're fishing at night. And nav lights, if you have a motor in your kayak and you're fishing before the sun comes up or after the sun goes down, you need nav lights. It's not just a safety thing, it's a legal thing in many states where you need to have nav lights if you're motoring in the dark. Also carry a small first aid kit with you, something with bandages, some wraps, some hand sanitizer, alcohol wipes, antiseptic cream, things like that. That's not gonna do a lot for major blood loss, obviously, but if you're out there and you hook yourself, you cut yourself, just something to stop the bleeding temporarily and you don't get a nasty infection. Things like a whistle as well. You always want to keep a whistle with you. In some states, that's also a legal requirement on a kayak. Also an air horn. An air horn, if you're in a place with a lot of boat traffic, can save your life. These boaters, if they're not paying attention and they're coming right at you, they won't hear you yell. They might not hear your whistle. An air horn's the best bet to get their attention and know that they're getting too close or they're coming towards you. Also marine radios, especially if you're fishing offshore, big waters, look into a marine radio. And also a safety knife should be on your person or within a very close proximity. If you fall into the water and you tangle up on some line, you get into some treble hooks, you get into some rope or whatever, you want to have that safety knife to be able to free yourself and get back into your kayak. And tip number 4 for staying alive when kayak fishing is getting proper sun protection. The sun is out there and it will roast you in a heartbeat, but it's not just a sunburn. It can lead to further consequences later on. So make sure you have things like proper sunglasses. Always have sunglasses with you. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be fancy, but get polarized sunglasses. Not only do they protect you from the glare bear, as Andy from The Office says, it protects your eyes from that sun, but it also protects it from that reflection bouncing off the water. In addition to the sunglasses, take sunscreen with you for the areas of your body that is more exposed than others, like your nose, your hands, and things like that. It's critical that you protect your skin with a proper apparel too. So long sleeve shirts, gaiters, gloves, because your gloves are out there in the sun all day long. They will burn quickly. It also has to be breathable and it has to be UPF rated. If it's not UPF rated, then you can't say for sure that it's going to protect you from the sun. The UPF rating is similar to the SPF rating when it comes to sunscreen. So these shirts from Windrider are actually UPF 50, which means it's the equivalent of 50 SPF sunscreen on my body. And Windrider has quickly become one of my favorite brands when it comes to sun protection. They got shirts just like this. This is the hooded Helios shirt, so it comes with the hood. Comes in really cool designs as well, but obviously you got the hood and you have a neck gaiter, which was hidden by my beard. You like that? So this neck gaiter comes all the way up as high as you want it to go, right over your head if you wanted to, and it's super comfortable. It's super lightweight. It has spandex in it, which makes it stretchier than some of the other gear available on the market. And Windrider's quickly become one of my favorites because they're a US based company and they're family owned. They're not one of these big box stores. They're not one of these overseas brands. They're all based right here and they're incredibly comfortable as well. In addition to sun protection, they also have rain gear, ice gear, float suits, all that good stuff. So if you're in the market for some new sun protection or rain gear or ice gear, check them out below, Windrider. I linked them in the description, and use code BDF10 for 10% off your entire order. And the 5th way to make sure you survive kayak fishing is to tell someone your plans. Now this is an easy tip, but incredibly crucial. Let people know what your plans are. If you're going fishing, tell somebody. I don't care if it's your friend, your girlfriend's mom, Betty from down the street. Just let them know so that way if you don't show up, they can call the right people or inquire a little bit more. Things that you want to share, where you're going, what time you anticipate being back, a float plan if you're floating down the river, just things to let people know. And if you can share your location with somebody, that's even better. Share your location on your phone with a buddy, someone that you trust. Again, it's just that extra step of caution in case something does happen and you don't show up. they can call the right people, the right authorities, and people can start looking for you in case you are missing. And the sixth way to survive kayak fishing is to learn how to self-rescue. What does that mean? That means if you fall out of your kayak, learn how to get back in. Because it's not a matter of if you fall out of your kayak, it's when you fall out of your kayak. And when that happens, you don't want to be caught off guard and not know and be totally clueless as to what to do to get back into your kayak. So be prepared. Think about things in advance. If you have a ton of stuff along both sides of your kayak and horizontal rod holders and fish finders and everything, and you have no plan of how to get back into your kayak, then you might need to rework your setup a little bit. And also practice re-entry. Go out to the water when it's not super cold out, maybe in the summertime, get into the water and then try to climb out of the water into your kayak. It's a lot harder than it sounds, especially when you have a life jacket on, gear on. Again, you got stuff on the side of your kayak. You want to be able to, even if you have that stuff there, move it out of the way so that you can pull yourself onto it if you fall out. And you can also look at the entry ladders that people make. They're the little rope ladders with PVCs so that they can put their foot on there and climb into their kayak. I haven't used one of those, but some people find them useful and as a tool in case they do fall into the water. And way number 7 to survive kayak fishing is to be highly visible. Be as high vis as possible. What does that mean? Try to get bright clothing, bright life jacket, bright kayak if you can. I understand if you already have your kayak, that's cool. You don't have to go get another one. But if you have the option to get a bright kayak, I think it certainly does help. Although camo does look cool, I do have to admit, from a safety perspective, a brighter kayak is better on the water. More people are likely to see you. But in addition to that, get a brighter PFD, just like the one I showed you earlier. This orange one, my NRS Chinook, this stands out a lot more than my green Old Town one that I like to wear as well. But if I go somewhere that I know is higher boat traffic, I'm more likely to wear something like this. Again, just so people see me a little bit better. If you have a kayak that blends in and a life jacket that blends in, then look at bright clothes. Look at the Wind Rider gear that comes in super bright yellow, super bright blue, things like that that stands out a little bit more. So even though your other things may blend in, at least your gear can stand out. And lastly, like I mentioned, your lights, flags, anything you could do to give you the best advantage at being highly visible is what you should do. And way number 8 to make sure you don't die kayak fishing is to secure your gear. You need to properly secure your gear. You have a lot of stuff with you when you're out on the water, and the last thing you want is things falling out and you trying to grab things and then you flip your kayak because things were not secure. So make sure things are secure. Your paddle is something that you can tether down. That's a good idea because also if you lose your paddle and it's not secured and that's the only way for you to move around, you're gonna be up you know where without a paddle, and you don't want to do that. Also keep your phone tethered because that's something that we grab a lot, whether we're live streaming, you're taking pictures of your fish for your tournaments, your selfies with your fish, all that stuff. If you drop your phone in the water, it probably doesn't float. It's gonna go straight down. So tether it. Use something like the Rogue tether. They have the Shield tab, which is a great little way to keep it close to you. They also have their bigger tethers as well, and I've been using it for years and it works great. I'll put a link down in the description for all the stuff we're talking about, by the way, so you guys can check it out. But Rogue makes great tethers for your boards, your paddles, your phones, all that stuff. Also secure your crates. Tie them down, whether with bungees, with cam straps, with zip ties, whatever it is, tie down your crate. You don't want it spilling over with big wakes or if you flip and lose all your stuff, so tie down your crates as well. And lastly, your rods. Some people like to tether their rods, and that's great. I don't like to do that. I use rod floats on all my rods. I gotta admit, they don't look sexy, but there's been several times that my rod falls into the water, and guess what? I don't gotta worry about it sinking because I got my rod float on there. So check out the rod floats if tethering is something you don't want to do. Plus, it gives you less things to get tangled in. Lord forbid you do go into the water. And the 9th way to make sure you don't die kayak fishing is to know your limits. Know what you're comfortable with, know what you're capable of, and everyone starts somewhere. If you're a beginner, that's cool. Be a beginner. If you're intermediate, if you're advanced, be happy at that stage, but don't try to do something that you're not comfortable doing to keep up with the boys, to go for the big fish, things like that. If you get nervous on rivers like I do because I don't fish them enough, then make sure you put those boundaries in place. Take time to know your kayak, learn your rig, learn the capabilities of it, how stable it is, how much it rocks, its primary stability, if you can stand in it. You don't want to learn all this on a really bad weathery day with a lot of wind and a lot of chops. Go out there and learn in somewhere that you're comfortable. Stand up, move around, cast, and spend time in your kayak first so that you know how far you can push it to the limits and still be safe. And also avoid choppy weather if you're not comfortable with it. Use the weather app, use Omnia, use any of those tools to make sure that the weather is favorable when you go out fishing, especially if you're just starting out. And the 10th way to stay alive kayak fishing, stay hydrated. Yes, that might sound silly. Some people do it already. Some people don't do it enough. But you need to stay hydrated when you're out there. Whether it's a hot day or a warm day or whatever, stay hydrated. You're sweating, you're moving a lot, you're paddling, you're pedaling, you're out there. You know fishing time goes fast. It's like you stepped into a time machine and you don't know where the time went. And if water's not your thing, then take some juice, take fluids, and drink and take in the fluids. And right along with staying hydrated is skip the booze. Take water with you, take juice with you, but booze, all it does is deplete your body of the hydration that it has. The last thing you want to do is deplete your body of that hydration by drinking booze. Skip it, leave it for home or for later on. And I'm not trying to be like your dad and tell you what to do with the drinking. It's just my opinion. If you want to stay hydrated, the easiest way to do that is drink water and don't take booze with you when you're out there. And the thing about hot weather is that it tends to agitate existing medical conditions. I'm not a doctor, I'm not in the medical field, but I know that it can agitate existing conditions. So if you already have something and you're not drinking water, but you're drinking booze out there, or you're just not drinking any water, then that can just exacerbate the issue. Getting a heat stroke is a legit threat out there, especially in those dog days of summer that we're just now entering into. And the 11th way to make sure you don't die kayak fishing is to have an emergency repair kit. I've talked about this a lot, but take a kit with you when you're out there in the water, especially if you have a pedal drive, if you have a motor on your kayak. That's just more things that can break down and possibly leave you stranded. So make sure you have a repair kit. It could be as simple as something like this. This is just my tackle box that I got with my old sound many years ago. But in this tackle box, I keep essential items that I have had to use several times for myself, but more often than not, I'm using it for someone else. And I just got real simple house items in here. I got some extra screws and terminal posts for my battery. I have some extra AA batteries. I got AAA batteries because my autopilot uses AAA batteries. I have the little flat batteries too for other controls or remotes. I have a screwdriver. Electrical tape is always good. And also my favorite that you can use all the time is zip ties. Zip ties are clutch and they can hold most things together until you get back to land to fix them. Another great thing to have with you is an extra kill switch. If you have a motor on your kayak, take an extra kill switch, because if you don't want to lose it and then be stuck out there again with no motor to get back home. Allen wrenches. I have some blue Loctite, extra Sharpie for tournaments. So they're all simple things. None of them are super expensive or complicated, but all of these are things that at one point or another you might need or someone with you might need. So put together an emergency repair kit just like this. Hopefully you will never have to use it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And the 12th way to make sure you don't die when you're kayak fishing is to buddy up. Especially if you're just learning your kayak, learning to fish. Take a buddy with you fishing. Meet some friends online if you don't have fishing friends. And that way you just ensure safety in numbers. If you're going out to new water, take a friend with you. If you're going out to big water, take a group with you if possible. If you're fishing offshore, if you're fishing the Great Lakes, if you're fishing areas you're not comfortable fishing, take a friend with you. And when it comes to offshore fishing, that could be especially important because the weather changes fast offshore. Currents change, tides change, the weather's changed. And again, if any of that stuff happens where you lose your paddle, you lose your pedal drive brakes, your motor brakes, and you're out there and there's no one around, you could be in a really crappy place. So go take friends with you, especially offshore, and definitely when you're learning. And if you don't have fishing friends, check out Kayak Fishing Dads on Facebook. That's a group of over 42,000 members that absolutely love fishing. They love to share advice and they love to meet new people. There's people from all over the world, all over the US there that you can easily meet and link up with and go fishing with locally. And the 13th and last way to make sure you don't die kayak fishing is to inspect your kayak often. This is overlooked easily, especially if you go kayak fishing a lot. You just take it for granted that your fishing kayak is in good condition. However, damage happens over time. Plastic gets brittle and things break over time. That's just the way it happens. And what started out as a small crack can easily become a big crack on one trip. So inspect your kayak thoroughly and regularly to make sure that you don't have any cracks forming or something happening to your hull that can cause some big issues. Areas that you want to look at specifically are your scupper holes. Scupper holes can break on the inside, especially if you're transporting with those scupper carts that you're not supposed to do. It can crack on there. Check your deck as well, especially under the seat. So wherever the seat makes contact with your kayak, whether it's on the lower deck or slightly elevated, check there, because that's a lot of pressure. If you're like me, you're 235 pounds, you're sitting on that seat a lot, you're standing up and you're throwing your body down on it, that's a lot of pressure. Again, cracks can form over time. So check around the foam as well and the standing areas of your kayak, because that's a lot of weight standing in one spot. Moving around, shifting around, those cracks can appear over time. The easiest way to find out if you have any cracks in your kayak is to check the inside of your hull. Is there water coming in? That doesn't always mean there's a crack. Sometimes water comes in over the hatches, through the hatches. That happens to me all the time. But if you're getting a significant amount of water or water over time, you might have an issue with cracks. So just inspect it often so that you're not out there one day and it ruins your trip or worse. And if you thought this video was helpful, check out what 32,000 other kayak anglers said were their least favorite kayaks right here. So until next time, guys, peace and God bless.